Hi everyone, welcome to another embroidery tutorial with me, Laura, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful flower, the long-awaited larger flower, using some really rather unusual techniques. So let's begin. Okay, so for this tutorial I'm going to be using some Hessian fabric with my embroidery hoop, and I think I'm going to use some pink embroidery floss. And with that, to make some marks, I'm using one of these friction ball erasable pens. These are really good. You can just iron away the marks afterwards and the pen marks completely disappear. I'm also going to be using one of these stencils to make a little circle, and you're going to need a pair of scissors, a needle, a sewing needle, embroidery needle. Sewing needle is fine. And the most unusual thing you're going to need is a bit of clear plastic tubing. Now, I picked this up from my local DIY centre, just in the garden department. But you can do this technique with 2 needles, but I do recommend just getting a little bit of thin, clear plastic tubing, so sort of so long, so a little bit longer than your needle. And we're going to be using that. So let's begin, shall we? I'm probably going to go for 25 sized little circle. I'm going to put you up here and do a few sort of flower projects, I think, on this piece of material. I'm just going to mark roughly where my flower's going to go. You can also use this technique for roses, which we'll look at in a later tutorial. There we go, we got our little circle. The next thing to do is load up our needle with some thread, so let's do that. Okay, so I got my needle and floss ready. What we're going to do is we're going to start on the outside of our circle, back here, for example. And I'm just going to bring that through. Then what we're going to do is roughly in the center, we're going to place our needle, and then we're going to come up just next to where we started off in the first place, so about there. And you want to push your needle through, but not all the way through, so just to about there, and then we're going to stop. And we're going to take our plastic tubing and we're going to place that over our needle. So it's a little bit crazy. And what we're then going to do is taking the thread that's just underneath our plastic tubing, we are going to wrap some knots around our tubing. So what we want to do is, if you just use your finger and wrap it around your finger, and then taking that loop and then just twisting that loop, we're going to place that, so just like this, place that over our plastic tubing. Okay, you can see this part, the beginning part, is over the top of our embroidery floss. We just want to pull it gently, not too tight, and keeping it on top of the plastic tubing. So I'll just show you that again. So we're going to wrap it around our finger, and then we're going to just bring it up and place that over our plastic tubing. Okay, so this piece of floss cotton is just underneath. Bring that down to meet the next one, keeping those together, and put it a little bit and just wrapping them up. I'm going to do about sort of 16 to 18 of these. So again, wrapping it around my finger, just pulling it up and then coming to the left. We're then just going to pop that loop that we've created over our plastic tubing. Okay, so that's 3. Let's do a few more. 4, just bring those down. Try and keep all the knots together on the same side for now. 5. 6. Do a couple more. 17 and 18. So I've done 18 of these in total. Okay, so what we're now going to do is, once we've got our 16 to 18, 20 loops, we are going to very carefully pull out the plastic tubing. And you want to hold on to your stitches because you don't want your stitches coming up above your needle. So if you can see, this is why clear plastic is good. You should be able to just about see the tip of your needle there. So we want to make sure Our threads are just below the tip of our needle, holding them. Plastic tubing should just slide out. And then we're going to push our needle up, still holding our loops, and then we're going to bring our needle through. Okay. Try and do this slowly. Okay, and what this is going to do is we want to then just move our little knots up to the top. Don't worry about any big loops like that, they should tidy up. We're going to pull this and then making sure all our loops are on the same side at the top. You should end up with something that looks like this. And we're going to take our needle and we are just going to sew back through the center to secure that in place. You can give it a nice pull as well. And there we go. So you want to keep all those little knots on the same side at the top, like that. Then your next one, we're going to just move that over. Again, we're going to come up near the top. So I'm going to move over sort of about 1/2 centimetre. Really doesn't matter. Come back up through the top. And again, we're going to come up through the middle and come up next to where we started. So about here. And again, don't push all the way through. It's very easy just to think you want to sew through. Again, just before the tip of your needle goes through, we're going to place a plastic hook on the top and taking the working yarn at the bottom of our plastic tubing, we're going to make 18 more of those loops again. So again, wrapping it around your finger from the front, bringing that underneath, and then just bringing that up and popping that loop over your plastic tubing. So let's create another 18 of these loops. And I shall come back. 3, 17, and then one more. And you want to make sure you've got enough floss left. So I'm going to pull mine through slightly, just make sure it doesn't go completely through the needle. Just to give me one more loop. 18. Okay, so we're just going to move those down so you can see the tip of your needle through the plastic tubing. And then if I just zoom in, see if you can see a little bit closer. See the needle just popping through there. And we're going to hold our knots and release the tubing. Keep them down like that. Release the tubing and just push your needle through. So you want to keep those loops on your needle. I'm going to bring the needle through. It's very hard to do slowly. Okay. And then you want to just push all your little knots to the top. So you want to make sure they're all facing in the same direction. And give that a pull. Make sure they're all at the top. And then we are going to then just sew to the middle again. Again, giving that a nice pull. Neaten off your stitches. And then we can fold the other one back as well. And you can see our second one has appeared. So I will complete this flower, just repeating that again and again and again, until you end up with something like this. On here I did about, how many did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've done 8 of these to complete one flower. It really depends on the size of your circle, but I will just repeat this and then we'll come back and have a look and see what it looks like at the end. Now I've run out of yarn, so it's definitely not enough to do another one, so I'm just going to secure this. And the way I do that, if you're curious, is I just split my threads. I'm using all 6 threads with this flower. Split the threads and I just tie a knot gently on the back. And then I trim down the excess, and I'll use that in stuffing for my crochet projects. And there we go, and then we can start again with some new floss. Okay, so I'm going to do that for some more petals. Okay, so I'm actually going to stop there. I'm actually going to do just over half a circle because I think I'm going to turn this into a carnation, an angled carnation. So I've done 6 of these petals and I'm going to stop there, and I'm just going to add a little bit of green and a few stitches down here, which you can find in my other tutorials, and turn this into a beautiful carnation. So all that's left to do now is remove our marks. I've got a hot iron, and the brilliant thing about this pen is with a little bit of heat, the lines completely disappear. So I can just remove all my markings, and that little flower is done. So there we go, 2 different ways of making a flower. We've got a beautiful carnation flower, just working half a circle with this technique, or you can do a whole circle and create this beautiful flower here. It's entirely up to you. So hopefully you'll give it a try. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I hope you managed to follow along, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video if you enjoyed it. So really help this channel grow. But yeah, I hope you've learned something new. Hopefully you'll give it a try. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you soon for some more embroidery crafting fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.